Hello everybody, Andy here again. Well, I watched a video the other day by one of my favourite YouTubers, but now he's on Vloggerheads most of the time, Tom TLG847, and he made a video called Something in the Air about what he called the zeitgeist, I think is sort of the spirit of the age, and how he felt that was there something there, something that's it's sort of starting to happen, in the world of the internet and all that sort of thing. And funnily enough, I'd actually jotted down a couple of things because there were sort of 2 or 3 things that caught my attention, mainly last week. I've been meaning to make this video for a while, that made me think of this as well. And I've actually written them down in case I forget them. The first one was the fact that the Vatican, Pope Benedict the XVI, no, not that Pope, the real Pope, Pope Benedict the XVI, put a video, made a YouTube channel, and like the royal family over here in Britain, I think that's sort of really a sort of a sense of sort of respectability for the site. If someone like the Catholic Church, the Vatican, are putting up a YouTube channel, then YouTube has really come of age. The royal family, yes, but maybe this is something a bit different. Maybe they're catching on, realising what this can do for them, I suppose. Maybe that's, people could look at it with a cynical point of view, and that's fair enough. But they're doing it. They've recognised that this is a medium that means business, that can get business maybe in some ways with the advertising and that. But it's the future. Let's put it that way. Another thing was the Encyclopedia Britannica, which I think is a British thing. Britannica tends to suggest that, I suppose, and very well known for sort of people, certainly of my age, that used to get these sort of 26 big sort of, about 26 different encyclopedias, and people used to come around and knock on your door and used to pay them by sort of instalments, hire purchase type of thing, and you sort of pay a little bit every month or every week or something, and used to build up this collection. They still do that, but now obviously they've gone into the world of the internet like everybody else has, but they've been left behind a bit by Wikipedia. And now what they've decided to do, once again last week, is open themselves up a bit. Not quite the same as Wikipedia. It's not going to be quite an open source thing where everybody can go in and do what they want and edit and change and write articles. They're going to open it up to certain people, and obviously the articles will have to be looked at, edited, whatever, but they're going to be sort of screened, I suppose, beforehand. But once again, it's a move in that direction. It's another sense that they've seen something here that they need to move with the times as well, get with the spirit of the age, I suppose. One of the other things was Twitter and how that's moving on. I know that's not YouTube, but once again, as I said before, I've moved off into Twitter to do things over there, and I'm making friendships with people that I might have met before, but making stronger friendships, I think, through sites like Twitter, and I know it's becoming more and more popular. We've all probably heard about Barack Obama over there, or President Obama, should I say, with his Twitter site. I think he's the most followed, I think is the right expression, most followed person on Twitter, and he usually sort of follows you back. I don't expect he's sitting there reading my tweets in the Oval Office, but you never know, do you? But once again, and with him as well, I think it's come sort of a internet savvy, a technology savvy president, a young president, 47. I know George Bush wasn't particularly old, but he's looking at things in a different way. He's embracing technology. There's that sort of famous story about him wanting to keep his BlackBerry and that because he wants to keep in touch, because he's up to date with this type of thing. And I think that's drawing people in to the use of the internet, to the way that the internet or everything around it is going to move, whether it be Twitter, whether it be YouTube. I mean, obviously, famously, he's got a YouTube channel as well, and he's changed that to the White House channel, etc., etc. So you can see where I'm coming from with that, and I think that is going to have a big effect. I know that Barack Obama's influence, the American president's influence, is obviously felt across the world, but I think Barack Obama, especially in other countries outside of the US, but obviously in the US as well, is really having an influence. My daughter, for example, who's 14, she wants a Barack Obama t-shirt. Now, to me, I think that's great. That just sort of symbolises and sums up, I think, the way that he's thought about across the world and the way that people are looking towards what he's doing. And I think that will draw a lot of people in to what he's talking about. And as I said, he's very tech savvy, very internet savvy, and I think that's going to move and bring a lot of people into what we're doing here as well. On the Twitter front as well, a very famous sort of British comedian, writer, actor, whatever he does about it, polymath I think is the right word, he's a bit about everything, Stephen Fry. I follow him, he's followed by a lot of people over here. He's very much into sort of technology and the internet. I think he said not recently that he's got about 5 iPhones and he's got about 15 different computers, most of them Macs, so all the Mac people out there are going, yeah, he's one of us. But he's very interested in that type of thing, and he was on a mainstream TV chat show the other day. Jonathan Ross, you may have heard of, and they were talking on the talk show, on the chat show, about Twitter. And once again, I thought, is this the time that sort of explodes? And because of that, there have been articles in magazines, there have been bits in the paper, on the BBC website, and everybody suddenly thought, oh, if they didn't know about Twitter, they suddenly sort of pricked up their ears and suddenly realised there's a lot of other sort of celebrities and that are on there as well, or people of influence, whatever you want to call it, and people are starting to follow them, people are starting to get into this. I was talking about it to a couple of people the other day who had no idea what it was, but they could see what it was about. And what Stephen Fry said actually on the chat show is that, like myself, when he first got into it, he didn't really understand it, but then he sort of suddenly got it. And I think that's the thing, people are starting to get it now, whether it be with Twitter, whether it be with the internet. We all see sort of certain sites like Twitter, YouTube and that as only appealing to certain types of people, but then when you get into it, you suddenly realise that it opens up avenues to other things as well, and we can use it for what we want to use it. A site may come along and it may be just a video sharing website, but then you start using it. Once you get used to it, you use it for what you want, and I think that's the way that things are moving along now with this site, with Twitter, with all the other sites as well. You can probably think of ones. Blip FM's another one that I love as well, and I've really got into. It allows me to use that site as I want to use it. I do what I want to do with that site, and that's what we're doing. I think that's one of the major differences with that. So I'd love to know what you think about this, whether you think there's something in the air along this, whether we're coming to that tipping point, to use another famous expression. So there you go. That's my thoughts. Sort of 3 or 4 things that have happened in the last week that have made me sort of think, hey, maybe we are on the edge of something here. Maybe we are reaching that tipping point. There is something in the air. So your thoughts, I'd love to know. And they're my thoughts as per usual. I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.